Hey everybody, welcome to episode 157 of the Rise or Die podcast, Lifestyle KPIs. So I talked actually yesterday about setting targets that are yes or no, black and white, like there's no subjectivity to them, right? It enables us to actually set targets as opposed to goals, which are just nice, crappy ideas that are never actually going to happen, right? Targets have a deadline, we move forward, there's an action plan, etc. I wanted to talk about something really interesting though, which is lifestyle KPIs. See, in business, if you're a business owner, especially if you're in sales and marketing, you understand KPIs, key performance indicators. Now, it sounds really fancy, but it's basically how are you measuring your success? How are you measuring your progress? Whether that's in your marriage, your team, obviously at work, your health, etc. Some are really easy, right? Like, are you getting fatter or not? Well, the scale helps with that. It's pretty simple. Are you making more money or less? Well, ask Bank of America and they'll tell you, right? It's very simple. But do we actually track these on a weekly basis? Do we actually move forward on a weekly and even daily basis? How do you know you're moving forward? How do you know that you're making progress? And let's be honest, the two hardest areas are being in balance. How the heck do you track if your relationship with your wife or God is actually getting better? Like that's one of the most challenging things that I had to start to really wrap my brain around. But it also had one of the biggest impacts. For example, track how many times you actually take your wife out on a date. That's interesting. You may not want to because, well, it's like once every 14 weeks. And I get it. Like when I got married, I didn't take my wife on date night either. But it has a huge impact. And although it's not a pure, like this is the end result, right? A date night is more of a if you do it, you know that you're going to start moving forward in your marriage. It's not the end result, but we start to put KPIs that we know impact our marriage. How many times have you gone to church in the last, 90 days or so? Do you track that sort of stuff? Do you track how long you take time to actually sit and read the Bible or pray or whatever the case is for you, meditate, whatever you want to call it? Do you track how many sales meetings you have? Probably. If you're a smart business guy, you absolutely do. But why aren't we tracking other areas of our life that are supposed to matter as much, if not more, than actually making money? It was a really tough pill to swallow. Like when I started doing these 90-day challenges and trying to figure out, okay, am I on track, am I not on track, etc., it was really challenging. But as you start to actually put key performance indicators into your life, yes, I'm actually moving towards the lifestyle that I desire. We all have this fancy idea of, what kind of lifestyle we want. I forget the stat. I think I even referenced this not long ago, but I read an article where it was like 80 or 75 or 80% of millennials, I forget the exact number, think they're going to be millionaires. I think it was by 40. Okay, that's a nice, fine and dandy idea. I got it. But how do they know they're on track when they're not tracking anything? How do they actually know that they're expanding towards that goal or that target if they're not actually doing weekly reviews of, yes, I'm making more, no, I'm not. Yes, I closed another deal, no, I didn't. How do they know that they're on track to have a wife and 2 kids and a white picket fence if they're not tracking anything related to their relationships? How many times this week did you actually send somebody in your family, wife or not, a sibling, a note saying how much you appreciate and love them? This isn't stuff that we normally talk about on Rise or Die. Normally I'm like in your face, let's talk business and put the dang spoon down, you fatty. Like that's kind of my style. But let's get very realistic here. We put the most effort into the areas that are easiest, but we don't into the toughest, most or at least tangible areas, like being in balance. How do you know you're on track? How do you know your relationship with God is improving? How do you know any of this if you're not tracking it? Use a little notepad. Use a Trello board. If you don't know what Trello is, go look at it on Google. Use a little sticky note. It doesn't matter. but where are you tracking key indicators in your life? Are you? If not, how are you going to change that in the next 24 to 48 hours? Across body, being, balance, and business, what are the specifics that you are going to track? I'm not asking you to complicate everything and track 10 different KPIs under each area. Just pick one. Pick one KPI across body, being, balance, and business that actually shows you you're expanding, that you're evolving, that you're improving your life. That's it for episode 157, Lifestyle KPIs. As always, if you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. If you're on iTunes, give us a good review. It will help us get the Rise or Die attitude, the Rise or Die movement to as many people as possible in a much shorter amount of time. Appreciate your help. Talk to you tomorrow.